Welcome back to Tips with Learn World.
This is where we really try to cut through all the noise and just get straight to the knowledge.
That's the goal.
Our mission, as always, is to help you get incredibly well-informed and fast. We do that by pulling out the most powerful insights from sources you've shared.
And today's is, well, it's a bit unusual.
Yeah, definitely unusual, but I think really eye-opening. We're doing a deep dive into a YouTube video. It's called English Speaking Practice with American Accent Learn English Conversation.
I say, and it's from the Tips with Learn World channel.
Right, so on the surface, okay, it's a language learning video. Pretty straightforward.
Exactly. But what we want to do, what we're aiming for today, is to kind of unlock the hidden genius in it, to show how it, maybe without even realizing it, applies these principles that, top educators work on for their entire careers.
It's like finding a hidden blueprint for learning, yeah.
It really is. Like, it's embedded right there in plain sight. And the thing that immediately caught my eye was this little mini mystery right in the middle of the lesson.
Ah, the Mr. Thompson situation.
The peculiar case of Mr. Thompson, exactly.
Well, what's really neat here, I think, is how the way we acquire language, like in this video, actually links up to bigger ideas about how our brains learn. Well, pretty much anything. The structure of the video, yeah, it seems simple. It's designed for English fluency, but underneath, it really offers I'd say a profound blueprint for how we efficiently process and keep new information. Any kind of information.
So we're looking beyond just the words.
Oh, definitely. We're looking past the specific vocabulary to understand the pedagogical design, what makes the learning actually stick. Why is this seemingly simple video so effective? That's the interesting part.
Okay, all right, so let's dig into this then. The video starts off setting a really clear expectation. It asks, do you want to learn English vocabulary faster and boost your speaking skills quickly?
Standard hook.
Right. And then, boom, it jumps straight into a 4-part exercise. So thinking about that structure, what's the first thing that jumped out at you? How does that set the stage differently than, say, typical language drills?
Well, what struck me immediately was how meticulous the progression is. It's not just throwing stuff at you.
Okay.
Part 1 is listening practice. You just hear a conversation, you focus on the meaning. That gives you right away authentic context. It simulates real life, and it kind of reduces the initial brain strain, the cognitive load.
Right, you're just absorbing first.
Exactly. Then part 2, vocabulary. Then it explains the new words from that exact conversation using clear examples, so it's not just a random list. It links the new words directly back to the story you just heard. It's sort of preloading your mind for what comes next.
Okay, that makes sense. Listening, then vocab from the listening. What's next?
Part 3 is listen and answer practice. This is key. It prompts you to actively recall information from the conversation. That's a huge shift from just passively recognizing words.
So you have to pull it back out.
Precisely. Active retrieval.
Yeah.
That really helps solidify those new connections in your brain. And then finally, part 4 is shadowing practice.
Shadowing, like mimicking.
Exactly. You mimic the speakers.
Yeah.
So you move from just understanding the concepts to actually developing the skill, refining your pronunciation, your rhythm. It's honestly a remarkably potent progression from taking it in to using it, absorption to active application.
That progression, yeah, it makes a lot of logical sense how each step really does build on the last one. But what's the secret sauce? What stops it from feeling like just another boring drill?
Good question.
Because for me, it felt like the content itself, the learning material, was built around that mini mystery you mentioned, that narrative hook. It pulls you in right away.
Yeah.
Mark and Lisa are talking about Mr. Thompson. Right, he didn't show up for class. Nobody knows where he is. Then Mark says the classroom door was open when he got there, which is not minimal.
Because Mr. Thompson always locks it.
Always locks it. And then the kicker, the projector is missing. I mean, I have to admit, when they said the projector was gone, my first thought wasn't about vocabulary words.
Huh. No, you were thinking, what's going on?
Yeah. Is Mr. Thompson running some kind of, educational heist or something? It actually makes the learning stick because you're genuinely interested, almost without even realizing you're supposed to be studying.
It's fantastic you picked up on that because it taps right into how our brains work.
Yeah.
We're not just wired for stories, we're wired for curiosity, for pattern recognition.
Okay.
That Mr. Thompson mystery, even though it's simple, it creates what we call an information gap. Our brains just automatically want to fill that gap.
Right. You want the answer.
You want the answer. And that makes you more receptive to the vocabulary and phrases because suddenly they're clues in this little puzzle that's unfolding. It shifts passive listening into active problem solving.
Okay. So when the video explains a word.
Exactly. So when it explicitly explores a word like strange and defines it as not normal or usual, right after Mark mentions Mr. Thompson being gone, you don't just learn a definition out of thin air.
No, you connect it.
You connect strange to that feeling, that sort of mild unease about this missing teacher. Same thing happens with the phrase, something fishy's going on around here.
Which they explain too.
Yeah, they explain it as something is wrong, we're suspicious, but we don't know exactly what. It perfectly captures that suspense when they find the open door and the missing projector.
It really does.
And then they decide, okay, we need to tell the principal. And right then, the term principal gets defined, the head or leader of a school. It's immediately relevant to solving the problem they're facing in the story. The narrative provides that really powerful emotional anchor, and a logical one, too.
So the story hooks us, definitely. It keeps us intrigued. But then to really, hammer that knowledge home, they hit us with something else pretty fundamental, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Repetition.
Yeah, that direct instruction to really lean into repetition. The video flat out tells you, repetition is very important to become fluent in English, so watch this video many times.
No ambiguity there.
None at all. And repeat this exercise every day until you can say the answers quickly and confidently. They're not just hoping you'll do it, they're explicitly telling you to. But here's a question. Doesn't repeat this exercise every day risk becoming just, rote memorization, mindless?
That's a really good point. How does it stay productive?
Yeah. How do they ensure it's useful repetition, not just mind-numbing practice?
And that, I think, is where the genius of the overall design really comes back in. Yes, the explicit call for repetition is crucial, absolutely. But it avoids becoming just rote memorization precisely because of that four-part structure we talked about earlier.
The different types of practice.
Exactly. The video orchestrates varied repetition. You're not just drilling the same thing in the same way over and over. First, you're listening passively. Then you're actively recalling with the listen and answer part. Then you're physically mimicking with the shadowing.
Okay, so it's hitting it from different angles.
Totally. It subtly mirrors quite advanced learning techniques, things like interleaving or spaced repetition. But the learner doesn't even need to know those terms. You're not just repeating the same word list. You're re-encountering the information, you're retrieving it from memory, and then you're actually producing it, all in slightly different contexts and using different parts of your brain and body.
So it's building the connections more strongly.
Much more intelligently than just brute force repetition. It's moving the knowledge from conscious effort, really having to think about it towards subconscious fluency. That kind of varied, frequent exposure is what really cements information into long-term memory. And that applies whether you're learning a language or practicing a musical instrument or trying to understand, a complex scientific idea.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. What's our big takeaway from this deep dive into the English Easy Practice video? It really seems to show how a multifaceted approach builds knowledge so effectively.
Definitely.
That four-part exercise, going from just listening to actively using the language through vocabulary, Q&A, and shadowing, that seems like a really potent framework.
It really is.
But maybe what makes it truly stick is that engaging story, that little mystery about Mark and Lisa finding out Mr. Thompson is gone, the open door, the missing projector.
The narrative context.
Yeah, that context is just a brilliant hook for learning the new words. We saw it with strange and something fishy is going on around here and principle. Their immediate use right there in the conversation just cemented their meaning, made them memorable.
Couldn't agree more. Context is king.
And crucially, like you said, the video doesn't just hint at repetition. It explicitly tells you, watch this video many times, repeat this exercise every day. It feels designed to build those brain pathways smartly, not just through grinding. That seems like a core strategy for getting fluent in anything, really, not just English.
Absolutely. And if we kind of zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture of learning, these specific techniques used for English, they really offer universal tools for getting knowledge quickly and thoroughly.
How so?
Well, having a well-structured narrative, especially one that sparks a bit of curiosity like the Mr. Thompson story, it grabs your attention. It provides memorable context that makes any new information feel much more meaningful, much easier to hold on to.
Right.
And then that varied repetitive practice moving systematically from just taking information in to actively recalling it and then applying it. That's just fundamental for mastery. Doesn't matter if it's language, a physical skill, or, getting your head around complex subject matter. That cycle is key.
So story, context, and smart repetition.
Essentially, yes. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
This raises an important question, I think. If even a simple language practice video like this one is actually so thoughtfully designed for effective learning, what other kinds of deeper structures, maybe often hidden ones, might be at play in the everyday information sources you run into?
Like news articles or work presentations.
Exactly. Things like that. What structures could be there that might actually accelerate your understanding if you took a moment to sort of deep dive into their design, not just their content? So maybe think about not just the what you're learning, but the how it's being presented to you. It could make a real difference in your own personal learning journeys.